Hello viewers, welcome back to another video. It's I guess day 28th or 29th of our reading for 20 minutes every day until I get better. And I missed quite a lot days because I was busy. I got free but I fell off track and I have no excuse for it. So sorry for that. We left it on page number 236 last time. Let's start without any further delay because it's very hot here. And I have to turn off my fan, as you all know. I have to turn off my fan to read in the videos, or else my voice isn't clear. So let's start the timer for 20 minutes. Yeah. We all have goals that we would like to achieve and dreams that we would like to fulfill, but it doesn't matter what you are trying to be, what you are trying to become better at. If you only do the work when it's convenient or exciting, then you will never be consistent enough to achieve remarkable results. I can guarantee that if you manage to start a habit and keep sticking to it, there will be days when you feel like quitting. When you start a business, there will be days when you don't feel like showing up. When you are at the gym, there will be sets that you don't feel like finishing. When it's time to write, there will be days that you don't feel like typing, but stepping up when it's annoying or painful or draining to do so, that's what makes the difference between a professional and an amateur. Yeah, that's very true right now because I haven't been following my habits for a very long time. I think it's been a month, not a month. Yeah, it's been around a month. I haven't been on track. I'm not tracking much of my habits, and that's because shit got harder. Yeah, I mean, I got busier and I had much more things to handle. I could have done it, but I chose not to because I didn't handle it professionally, and I thought I'll do it after it gets easier because I started it when it was easy for me to start. I didn't follow it when it was hard for me to do it. That was my biggest mistake, I think, right now. Okay. Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. Professionals know what is important to them and work towards it with purpose. Amateurs get pulled off course by urgencies of life. Hmm. David Kane, David Kane, an author and meditation teacher, encourages his students to avoid being fair weather mediators. Fair weather mediators. Oh. Similarly, you don't want to be a fair weather athlete or fair weather writer or fair weather anything. When a habit is truly important to you, you have to be willing to stick to it in any mood. Professionals take actions even when the mood isn't right. They might not enjoy it, but they find a way to put the reps in. Hmm. There have been a lot of sets that I haven't felt like finishing, but I have never regretted doing the workout. There have been a lot of articles I haven't felt like writing, but I have never regretted publishing on schedule. There have been a lot of days I have felt like relaxing, but I have never regretted showing up and working on something that was important to me. The only way to become excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by doing this is to be endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over. You have to fall in love with the boredom. Chapter summary. The Goldilocks rule states that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on their edge of current abilities. The greatest threat to success is not failure but boredom. As habits become routine, They become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. As habits become routine, they become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. It is the ability to keep going when work isn't exciting that makes the difference. Professionals stick to the schedule, amateurs let life get in the way. Chapter number 20. I hope it's visible. The downside of creating good habits. Habits create the foundation for mastery. In chess, there is only after the basic movements of the pieces. In chess, it is only after the basic movements of the pieces have become automatic that the player can focus on the next level of the game. Each chunk of information that is memorized open up the oh, mental space for more simple movements so well that you can perform them without thinking. You are free to you are free to pay attention to more advanced details. Thinking you are free to pay attention to what? When you know the simple movements so well that you can perform them without thinking, you are free to pay attention to more advanced details. In this way, habits are the backbone of any pursuit of excellence. However, the benefits of habits can come at a cost. At first, each repetition develops fluency, speed, and skill. But then, as a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to the feedback. You fall into mindless repetition. It becomes easier to let mistakes slide. And you can do it good enough. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking about how to do it better. The upside of habits is that you can do things without thinking. The downside of habits is that you get used to doing things certain you get used to doing things a certain way and stop paying attention to the little errors. You assume you are getting better because you are gaining experience. In reality, you are merely reinforcing your current habits, not improving them. In fact, some research has shown that once a skill has been mastered, there is usually a slight decline in performance over time. Okay. Usually, this minor dip in performance is no cause for worry. You don't need a system to continuously improve how well you brush your teeth, improve how well you brush your teeth, or tie your shoe, or make your Morning cup of tea. With habits like these, good enough is usually good enough. The less energy you spend on trivial choices, the more you spend it on what really matters. However, when you want to maximize your potential and achieve elite levels of performance, you need more nuanced approach. You can't repeat the same things blindly and expect to become exceptional. Habits are necessary but not sufficient for mastery. What you need is a combination of automatic habits and deliberate practice. Habits plus deliberate practice is equal to mastery. To become great, certain skills do need to become automatic. Basketball players need to be able to dribble without thinking before they can move on to mastering layups with their non-dominant hand. Surgeons need to repeat the first incision so many times that they could do it with their eyes closed so that they can focus on the hundreds of variables that arise during surgery. But after one habit has been mastered, you have to return to the effortful part of the work and begin building the next habit. Mastery is the process of narrowing your focus to a tiny element of success, repeating it until you have internalized the skill, and then using this new habit as the foundation to advance to the next frontier of your development. Old tasks become easier the second time around, but it doesn't get easier overall because now you are pouring your energy into the next challenge. Each habit each habit unlocks the next level of performance. It is an endless cycle. Mastering one habit, automaticity increases with the habit line. Okay, repetition. Mastering a field. The process of mastery requires that you progressively layer improvements on top of one another, each habit building upon the last until a new level of performance has been reached and higher range of skills has been internalized. Although habits are powerful, what you need is a way to remain conscious of your performance over time. You can continue to refine and improve. It is precisely at the when you begin to feel like you have mastered a skill moment when you feel like when you begin to feel like you have mastered a skill, right when things are starting to feel automatic and you are becoming comfortable, that you must avoid slipping into the trap of complacency. The solution: establish a system for reflection and review. How to review your habits and make adjustments. In 1986, the Los Angeles Lakers had one of the most talented basketball teams ever assembled, but are rarely remembered the way. They are rarely remembered that way. The team started in 1985 to 1986 NBA session with an astounding 29-5 record. The pundits were saying the pundits were saying that we might be the best team in the history of basketball. Head coach Pat Riley said after the session. Surprisingly, the Lakers stumbled in the 1986 playoff and suffered a season-ending defeat in the Western Conference Finals. The best team in the history of basketball didn't even play for the NBA championship. After that blow, Riley was Riley was tired of hearing about how much talent his players had and about how much promise his team held. He didn't want to see the flashes of brilliance followed by a gradual fade in performance. He wanted the Lakers to play up to their potential. Night after night, the summer of 1986, he created a plan to do exactly that, a system that he called the Career Best Effort Program. The Career Best Effort Program, or the CBE. When players first joined the Lakers, Riley explains, we track their basketball statistics all the way back to high school. I call this taking their number. We look for an accurate gauge of what a player can do, then build him into our plan, for the team based on the notions that he will maintain and then improve upon his averages. After determining a player's baseline level of performance, Riley added a key step. He asked each player to improve their output by at least 1% over the course of the season. If they succeeded, it would be a CBE, or Career Best Effort. Similarly to the British cycling team that we discussed in Chapter 1, the Lakers sought peak performance by getting slightly better each day. Riley was careful to point out that CBE was not merely about points or statistics, but about giving your best effort spiritually and mentally and physically. Players got credit for allowing an opponent to run into you, and you know that a foul will be called against him. Diving for loose balls, going after rebounds whether you are likely to get them or not, helping a teammate when the player he is guarding has surged past him, and other unsung hero deeds. क्या हुआ? रुक जाइए, 10 मिनट बाद आइएगा। अरे 10 मिनट बाद आइएगा। Relay was careful to point out that CBE was not merely about points or statistics, but about giving your best effort spiritually and mentally and physically. Players got credit for allowing an opponent to run into you when you know that a foul will be called against him. Diving for loose balls, going after rebounds, whether you are likely to get them or not, helping a teammate when the player he is guarding has surged past him, and other unsung hero deeds. As an example, let's say Magic Johnson, the Lakers' star player at the time, had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steals, and 5 turnovers in a game. Magic also got credit for an unsung hero deed by diving after a loose ball +1. Finally, he played a total of 33 minutes in this imaginary game. The positive numbers 11 plus 8 plus 12 plus 2 plus 1 added up to 34. Then we subtract the 5 turnovers, we get 29. Finally, we divide 29 by 33 minutes played is equal to 0.879. Magic CB number here would be 879. This number was calculated for all the players games, and it was the average CB that a player was asked to improve by 1% over the season. Relay compared each player's current CB, to not only their past performances but also those of other players in the league. As Relay put it, we rank team members alongside league opponents who play the same position and have similar role definitions. Sports writer Jackie McMillan noted, Relay trumped the top performers in the league in bold lettering the blackboard each week and measuring them against the corresponding players on his own roster. Bro, I didn't understand any of it. Giving your best effort spiritually and mentally, physically. Player got credit for allowing opponents to run. Okay, so they got credit for doing unsung hero deeds. After that, let's say, then you explained with an example of Magic Johnson. So what was the CB number for him was 789, and the coach asked all the players to improve this number by 1% each season over the season. Relay compared each player's CB not only their past performances but also those of other players in the league. As Relay put it, we rank team members alongside league opponents who play the same position and have similar role definitions. Sports writer Jack McCullough noted, Relay trumped the top performers in the league in bold lettering on the blackboard each week and measured them against the corresponding players on his own roster. Solid, reliable players generally rated a score in the 600s, while elite players scored at least 800. Magic Johnson, who submitted 138 triple doubles in his career, often scored over 1,000. The Lakers also emphasized year-over-year progress by making historical comparisons of CBE data. Relay said, we stacked the month of November 1986 next to November 1985 and showed the players whether they were doing better or worse than the same point last season. Then we showed them how their performance figure for December 1986 stacked up against November's. The Lakers rolled out CBE in October 1986 8 months later, they were NBA champions. The following year, Pat Riley led his team to another title as the Lakers became the first team in 20 years to win back-to-back NBA championships. Afterward, he said sustaining an effort is the most important thing for any enterprise. The way to be successful is to learn how to do things right, then do them the same way every time. Okay. The CB program is a prime example of the power of reflection and review. The Lakers were talented. CB helped them get the most out of what they had and made sure their habits improved rather than declined. Reflections and reviews enable the long-term improvement of all habits because it makes you aware of your mistakes and help you consider possible paths for improvements. Without reflections, we can't make excuses, create rationalizations, and lie to ourselves. We have no process for determining whether we are performing better or worse compared to yesterday. Top performers in all Top performers in all fields engage in various types of reflection and review, and the process doesn't have to be complex. Kenyan runner Eliud Kaipoch is one of the greatest marathoners of all time and an Olympic gold medalist. He still takes notes after every practice, in which he reviews his training for the day and searches for areas that can be improved. Similarly, gold medal swimmer Katie Ledecky 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 records her wellness on a scale of 1 to 10 and includes notes in her nutrition and how well she slept. Notes on her nutrition and how well she slept. She also records the times posted by other swimmers. The timer is up, guys. Times posted by other swimmers. At the end of each week, her coach goes over her notes and adds his thoughts. We read up to page number 245, chapter number 20. I hope it's visible. It's getting way too hot. Yeah. Thank you for listening today. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully tomorrow. Until then, goodbye. Go find your purpose. It's very important.